everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today I am here to do the New Year, New Me tag. And I was tagged by Sarah of My Granny Era, so thank you Sarah for tagging me in this. And quite honestly, my biggest goal for the year has been not setting challenges for myself and being much gentler to myself in all things, but especially in my reading. So I'm going to keep my answer to these questions very brief so that I don't start coming up with ideas as I talk and thus putting a lot of pressure on myself. So question 1 says, what is one book from your 2025 reading goals that scares you? Now, I don't have particular books that I must read this year, but just looking around at my TBR stack, I would have to say books that have been there for a while that I haven't really gotten to because they do rather scare me are either The Eighth Life, which I will insert up here, or anything by Edward Rutherford. I own several of his books now, thrifted, and all of those books terrify me because I don't know if I'm going to like them or not. I hope I do. And have you seen the size of those monsters? And so I always put it off thinking, oh well, and at this point in the year I'll have time to read it, and then I never actually do. Number 2 asks, what is one book on your 2025 reading goals that you can't wait to get to? Again, there's no particular book that I must read this year, but one that I'm feeling very excited about is If Beale Street Could Talk. I'm really feeling a pull to read that in the next month or two. Of course, there are many others, but I'm really hoping I love If Beale Street Could Talk. I did not enjoy Giovanni's Room, but I'm really hoping If Beale Street Could Talk will change my mind about how I feel about James Baldwin. Number 3 focuses on growth. So what was one book that you read last year that really forced you to reflect or pushed you out of your comfort zone? I paraphrased that, but you get the idea. And honestly, I would have to say the ACOTAR series, being A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Not that it's a very challenging book. It's not even particularly large, at least not the first one. But it forced me to grow as a reader in terms of it encouraged me to start trying new things again and things that I didn't think I would like, books that because of the internet hype surrounding them, I had begun to feel rather snobby about. And thus it also pushed me to not be ashamed of what I read, to proudly be a romance reader. Because again, some corners of the internet tend to get quite snobby about that. 4 asks, what are some new authors that you want to try in 2025? And there are so many. There are always too many books that I want to read by beloved authors and by new authors. I really couldn't pick one for this. In terms of self-care, what is one book or series that you often revisit for comfort? And of course I always say Jane Austen, that holds true, but I would add Anthony Trollope to that list now. He has really become a comfort author for me. And thus, honestly, in terms of booktube seasons, Jane Austen July and Victober are wonderful times for me. I can't wait to plan that reading and to do that reading. In terms of forging ahead, what is your favorite debut book or first book in a series that you read last year? This one I cheated a little bit in that I looked at a series that I was meeting again for the first time, and that is the Rose series by Jennifer Donnelly. I read the Tea Rose years ago. I think it was the winter between 2009 and 2010. I read the Tea Rose because it was my college roommate's favorite book. And then this past April, I finally read the second book. And it made me fall in love with that series all over again. I remembered the main characters, I remembered basic plot points of book 1, but this one made me fall in love with the whole series and how geniusly Jennifer Donnelly managed to continue it by focusing on different main characters, which added so much more to the original storyline, gave us completely new episodes in terms of adventure and romance, but we still had our original main characters keeping us company the whole way. Number 7 brings us back to goals. Wondering, do you have specific reading goals or challenges for the new year? And as I mentioned earlier, no, I don't. My only goal is to be gentler with myself about what I read, how often I manage to read, and to not put so much pressure on what I read to be amazing or the best or that I have to read the most, to just enjoy what I'm reading. Then number 8 asks as a bonus, do you have non-book related goals that you would wish to share for the year? And honestly, I don't. I've never been big on New Year's resolutions, and especially with being gentler with myself, that carries over to all aspects of my life as well. And then finally, with number 9, tag some others to reflect on their reading. Now, I know these two creators are very, very busy, but they have been wonderfully kind to me on BookTube, so I'd love to give them a shout out as well. And they are, of course, Marissa of Blatantly Bookish and Carla of Carla Reads a Lot. Carla Likes to Read. I'm sorry, Carla, I've forgotten your channel name, but she is delightful, and I will leave both of them linked down below so you can check out their channels. But again, in terms of being gentle with yourself, Marissa, Carla, do not feel pressured to do this tag if it's going to be one thing too many for you. So that was the New Year, New Me tag. Again, thank you to Sarah for the wonderful shout out and tag. And be sure to share any of your goals or suggestions or anything you feel like sharing with me down below. It's always a pleasure to talk with you. And until next time, be safe, be well, and happy reading. Bye everyone.